Welcome everyone, I'm King of Valence, and thanks for watching this Spore speedrun. This is Civilization stage, completed as Economic on hard difficulty in 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Thanks to additional optimizations, this beats my previous time doing Economic by over a minute and a half. At the start of Civilization stage, on hard difficulty, the other cities will wait for us to perform one free move. So we will first claim a spice geyser next to where the other cities will spawn, then our tank will claim the other nearby geysers before the rival cities have a chance to capture them. There are 5 city spawn locations on our home continent, but only 4 cities will spawn, and using the land borders we can determine that this tribe in the middle and the tribe on the right will advance into cities. So after our tank captures this geyser, we will send it to claim the geyser between these cities, and our tank should reach it first. Once the first geyser is claimed, we are going to buy additional tanks to claim the rest of the geysers. And these 2 tanks reached their geysers before the small city did. We beat Lavender and Yellow nations to this geyser, and now we can move on to the southern ones. And once these tanks are finished, they can help to claim the remaining geysers too. Some starting city locations are easier to capture all the geysers than others. Starting on the top of the continent is fairly consistent, but starting on the east coast or landlocked would have likely been a reset. We spent most of our initial funds to buy the starting tanks, but now we have enough money to buy a boat, and the boat will claim the additional geysers in the water. Just have to still navigate around this epic, and it looks like all the land geysers will be ours. With one of the extra tanks, we're going to start the trade routes with the large cities on our home continent immediately. Previously, I thought other nations had to be friendly towards our nation with a plus 30 relationship in order for them to accept the trade route. But if we ask for a trade route early enough, they will accept at 0 or any positive relationship. And there Lavender accepts the trade route. We are also going to start a trade out with Yellow Nation, but Yellow is military, so they start with minus 10 relationship, so we can give them compliments to raise our relationship back to 0 in order for Yellow to accept the trade route as well. We have all the vehicles we need, so now we can start to place buildings. I chose smaller buildings this time. Last time I chose large buildings that were difficult to rearrange in the city planner. There are 3 different city planner arrangements for each specialty, so I tried memorizing them to place all the buildings in the correct spot quickly. Cleaning up the remaining tribes for some free money, and Yellow Nation has accepted the trade route as well. Only giving compliments without needing to gift the cities to raise the relationship more, and still being able to trade with them this early was one of the major optimizations for this run. Big thanks to Fancy Hotdog for this tip. Now we can send the rest of our tanks to trade with the cities. This boat is going to claim 1 more geyser, then head over to Red Nation on the left continent to start a trade out with them too. Red Nation is military, so they also get some compliments. Blue Nation on the other continent is the last nation to have a large city, so we're going to start a trade out with them as well. Blue Nation is religious, so they should already be at 0 relationship, but we'll give Blue compliments too. They are free to do, we don't really need to meet it anyway. We want to trade with all 4 large cities, that is the Lavender, Yellow, Red, and Blue starting cities. Each city will be bought for 16,000 Spore bucks, regardless if the city is large or small, or how many buildings there are. Forest Nation, the small city in our home continent, would accept a bid lower than 16,000 since they started as a small city. But once Yellow or another nation conquers them, this small city will cost 16,000 too. This small city will be our 5th purchased city, and after buying 5 cities, that will unlock the global merger. We want to buy mostly large cities so we can sell all their buildings and afford the global merger easier. But for now we are slowly building up our home city and still establishing trade routes. Red Nation rejected our trade route request even though we gave them the compliments. Blue Nation accepts the trade route since they are religious, and with our compliments they are plus 10 relationship. But Red Nation is military, so with compliments that way brings them up to 0 relationship. But we can pay them 2,000 Spore bucks to bring Red up to 14 relationship, and now they will accept the trade route. Interestingly, Yellow Nation, who are also military, accepted the trade route before with only 0 relationship, so this minimum relationship requirement to accept trade routes appears to be slowly increasing over time. We are also going to give Yellow 2,000 Spore bucks as well to prevent them from declaring war once they capture the small city. Once they capture the city, they'll say our borders are too close, which usually pulls them under minus 30 relationship, and they will declare war. If Yellow declares war, they will cut off our trade out with the big city, and that would cost a lot of money to bring them back up to favorable relationship with us in order to start the trade route up again. So that 2,000 Spore bucks will keep them in the neutral range with us after capturing. Finishing up our city, it's best to make sure we keep at least 1 green smile from the entertainments for the chance for our citizens to celebrate and double the city's income. It can feel like a waste of money at the start to buy entertainments when we have limited money, but that investment will definitely pay off here now that they're celebrating. And this city's configuration can get up to 8,800 Spore bucks when celebrating. Now that Yellow captured that city, we can see that Yellow is at negative 23 relationship, and our gifts are worth plus 14, so yeah, that definitely prevented war. Our trade routes so far are worth plus 9 with Yellow, and each time a tank trades with the city is worth plus 1 or 2 towards that trade route bonus. We want to establish a new trade route with that small city Yellow just captured, but for them to agree we need to raise the relationship up again. So we will use the tanks to continuously trade with Yellow's large city, since that already has a trade route, to increase our relationship so we won't have to gift Yellow as much money. My relationship with Red and Blue on the other continents doesn't matter as much. As long as they don't declare war or start attacking each other's large cities, then it doesn't really matter. We are going to send 2 more boats to head to each of Red and Blue's cities and swap them for powerful economic boats when they arrive so the city is available for purchase more quickly. Yellow is going on the offensive some more by attacking Lavender. Hopefully Lavender can defend because every building Yellow destroys is one less building we can sell to afford the global merger at the end. While playing Civilization stage before, it appears that nations that have a lower relationship do better against nations that have a stronger relationship towards us. I've seen the tides of war change drastically by altering the relationships between warring nations. It might be placebo, but it seems to be true in my experience. But keeping this in mind, I'm going to stop trading with Lavender for the moment and have all my tanks trade with Yellow to increase our relationship more to try to make them worse at attacking Lavender. And thankfully Yellow's tanks are pretty weak, so they're taking a long time to take over Lavender. If Yellow's tanks were more powerful, they would have likely conquered Lavender more quickly, which could have allowed them to attack the red or blue cities, destroying more buildings. Some of our tanks have arrived, so now we can switch them to powerful economic tanks and speed up the purchase bar a little bit. When the powerful tanks trade, they make a lot more progress at a time, and we can switch them back to fast tanks when they're done. We are slowly accumulating money, but the plan is to buy all 5 cities at the same time, sell all their buildings, and buy the global merger. Now that we have most of our trade routes established, we need to trade with these cities, and we have to make sure we have all 5 cities ready for purchase before we get enough money to buy them all. Economic has essentially turned into a race between establishing and completing trade routes and our money reaching enough to buy 5 cities and the global merger. We acquired 8 spice geysers and have our large city producing money, so our money is generating quickly, but we need to make sure all the trade routes are ready to go by the time we gained enough spore bucks. That way we aren't losing time waiting on trade routes to complete. The boats are arriving at Blue and Red Nation at the same time, so this is a good opportunity to switch them to powerful boats. Switching vehicles will switch all the vehicles of that specialty we own on the planet. And in 3 powerful boat trades with the city, it is already available for purchase. We can switch them back to fast boats to keep trading to further increase the relationship with Red and Blue. Blue Nation City is almost there. 1 more powerful boat will finish the city, and another boat should arrive by the time we're ready to buy all the cities. Lavender has done a great job defending from Yellow, and Lavender looks like they will survive. Yellow's big city is ready for purchase, so we can move all the tanks to finish trading with Lavender. Our trade route with Yellow has also hit its maximum of plus 50, so we need to pay them 4,000 spore bucks to get them the rest of the way to friendly plus 30 relationship. Red Nation is upset that we are trading with Yellow and wants us to cut them off. Normally we would have to deny Red to take a relationship penalty, but if we move the planet behind the communication panel so we can contact another city, we can hang up on Red and completely bypass their demands. Big thanks to Matatic for showing me this. That is super helpful for keeping relationships up in economic. Now we can propose that trade route with Yellow's small city, and Yellow will accept because they are friendly. They will always accept a trade route if they are at least plus 30 relationship. Blue and Red Nations thankfully captured their small nearby cities very slowly, so they haven't been able to attack each other. Red Nation finally captured their 3rd city on the left continent, and Blue hasn't been able to take over their 1st city at all. Since Blue's religious, they can't take over another city until that defending city is put fully into view. While Blue Nation is busy not capturing, we can switch our boats one more time to make Blue's city available for purchase. And we can do the same thing with the tanks when they arrive. We can switch them to powerful tanks right as they approach the city for that additional trade progress. Now we just have to finish up the final trade routes with Yellow's small city and Lavender's large city. Then all 5 cities will be ready for purchase and we can begin the city shopping spree. Thanks to Yellow and Lavender's war getting nowhere, and Red and Blue taking so long to capture other cities, this allowed us to slowly trade with all other nations, take over their economies, and will allow us to buy all their cities. Each city will still be purchased for 16,000 spore bucks, totaling 80,000 spore bucks after 5 cities bought. We are getting close with about 60,000 spore bucks in the bank, plus some vehicles to sell. We are waiting for all the cities to be available for purchase before buying them because we might lose an ongoing trade route if another nation declares war on us if they see us as a threat as we're accumulating cities. But if their nation was already available for purchase, we can still buy it even if we're at war. Now we are ready to buy cities. We bought Blue City for 16,000 spore bucks, and that dropped Yellow and Red's relationship back into the neutral range already. Buy the Red City, and Red immediately declares war on us for buying their city. They called me a shrewd negotiator for my 16,000 bid, but hey, we bought their home city fair and square. Just like the 21st rule of acquisition, never place friendship above profit. Our new cities can start producing us money, we can sell our vehicles, and sell some extra turrets to afford Yellow's last city, because we're going to need a little bit more money to reach 16,000. Red City was military and had 5 turrets before we purchased it, but we lost one since an economic city can only hold a maximum of 4 turrets. And now we can afford the last city. Now that we have 6 cities, this is the last step to beat the stage. We need 48,000 spore bucks to buy the global merger. The amount of money we get from each city can vary a bit when selling all their buildings, but each city is worth about 8,000 spore bucks when selling everything as a good estimate. But we know the small city won't have many buildings to sell. Lavender's been under attack, so they might not have all their buildings, and we already sold some of Red's turrets to pay for the last city. So to play it safe, I waited for about 10,000 spore bucks in the bank to begin the final sell-off. Thankfully, Blue City sold for a little higher than average. All of Blue's buildings were worth around 12,000 spore bucks to sell. And we'll switch to the next city to sell all their buildings once we're done selling everything from this city. Red City didn't even have all the building slots filled. Come on, Red, you're losing us money on our investment. Looks like we're getting pretty close to that 48,000 Spore butt goal. It's difficult to judge in the moment exactly when to start selling buildings. We don't want to be short on cash after selling everything, because then we'd have to wait for only Spice Geysers to produce the money. We don't want to wait too long and overshoot 48,000, since that would have lost us time waiting. Lavender still had a surprisingly good number of buildings to sell, and there's enough to buy Global Merger and beat Civilization Stage using only economic cities. I'm really happy with this run, and time will end when the progress bar becomes blue arrows for 10 minutes and 23 seconds, and that will be Civilization Stage beaten on hard difficulty. Thank you so much for watching. I'm King of Valence, and I'll see you next time.